Good day, I am Juliet Baluma, senior high school applicant for mathematics. Column 1 to 8, kindly stand up for a prayer. Can you lead Miss Asilo? In the name of the Father, of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Good morning, everyone. Okay, you may now take your seat. How are you today? That's good to hear. Monitor, is anybody absent for today? Very good, you are 100% for today's attendance. So, are you ready for the new topic? Okay, but before that, who can recall the previous topic we had last time? Yes, Miss Mejorada. Okay, it was all about one-to-one function. So I hope that everyone was able to understand one-to-one function because it is related to our lesson for today. And for that, you should be attentive because it is very interesting and challenging lesson. So now I have here a scrambled phrase. So I want you to arrange this one. Time's up. So what is the arranged phrase? Yes, Miss Baluma. Okay, how about you, Mr. Comeda? Okay, you have the inverse of one-to-one function. So for today, we will tackle about inverse of one-to-one function. So here are the objectives. First, can you read? The second one. Then the third one will be develop your self-confidence on explaining on how to find inverse of one-to-one function. So to attain these objectives, I need your full cooperation and participation. So now I have here the table of values. I want you to observe and describe this one. So what did you observe? Yes, Mr. Asilo. Okay, you have, yes, this table of value here in the left side is the inverse of the table of values here in the right side. So next we will have, okay, this one. Are they functions? Are they functions? Yes, Mr. Soriano. Okay, they are functions. So can you observe the table of values behind them? Okay, so which of these two is one-to-one function and which is not? Yes, and it's the left side. How about you? Okay, in the right side. So let's find out. Boys at the back in lesson. So the one-to-one function here is in the right side, and in the left side is not a one-to-one function. So why? It is because, so can you observe? Okay, we have here in the original function, we have the table of value, which the domain is 1. Here, can you look at for the fourth data? Then, we have the range of 1. So, here in its inverse, we have the domain 1, but in the range is -3. So, it is not valid function. Okay, so how can we say that it is a function has its inverse, or why we can say that it is one-to-one function? Why is that all functions? Okay, so a function has its inverse if and only if it is one-to-one function. So if a function f is not a one-to-one, properly defining it is an inverse function, its inverse will be problematic. So suppose that we have here, by the way, what is inverse first? So inverse is a relation reversing the process performed by any function f of x. This means that every element of the range corresponds to exactly one element of the domain. So that is one-to-one function. So here it is. So suppose that we have f of 1 is equal to 5 and f of 3 is equal to 5. So what will be, or if they are one-to-one function, so its inverse should be what? Okay, but if f of 5 is function, so one-to-one function, so its inverse would be 1 and 3. So in this reason, why the inverse is only defined for the one-to-one function, because if it has inverse, then it will be prevent from being valid if it is one-to-one function. So next. So how do we find the inverse function? So we have, first, write the function in the form of y is equal to f of x or f of x equals to y, and then interchange the x and y variables. The third one, solve for y in terms of x and replace the y with the inverse of x. So let's apply this one. So kindly. Okay. So let's have the first example first. Find the inverse of f of x is equal to 3x plus 1. So we have, okay, so f of x is equal to 3x plus 1. And then write the function into y is equal to f of x. So f of x is equal to y, then copy 3x plus y. And then the second step we have, yes, okay, we have to interchange x and y. So we have y will become x and x will become y. So we have x is equal to 3y plus 1. And then to solve, then the third step will be solve y in terms of x. So to solve y, we need to transpose this 1. So what will happen to the sign if we will transpose? It will become, this one will become negative. So we have x minus 1 is equal to 3x. So to find the value of y, we need to extract this 3y. So what will be the number multiplied by this 3y? Yes? Okay, it is 1/3. Then we have 1/3 times x minus 1 will be x minus 1 over 3. Then 3y times 1/3 will be y. And then the last step, we have to rewrite the y, the new y, into the inverse of x. So the inverse of x is equal to x minus 1 over 3. So the inverse of this function f of x is equal to 3x plus 1 will be x minus 3 or x minus 1 over 3. So did you understand? Okay, so kindly do this second example. Yes, who want to volunteer to answer this on the board and explain it later? Okay, yes, Mr. Soriano, kindly show your solution and explain to the class. Okay, thank you, Mr. Soriano. So any clarification and questions? So far, okay? So we have proceed to the property. So a property of an inverse of a one-to-one function. So given a one-to-one function f of x and its inverse x, then the following are true. So first, the inverse of x will be f of x. Then the f of inverse of x is equal to x for all x in the domain of the inverse, and the inverse of f of x is equal to x for all x in the domain of f. So for the second and the third properties in the screen, it can be imagined that evaluating a function and its inverse in a succession is like reversing the effect of a function. So, okay, let's try. Okay, so can you do this in a one whole sheet of paper? Then I want you to select one representative each column to show your answers. So column number 1 will be answer number 1 and explain it to in the front. So one representative each column. So kindly count forward. Okay. Okay, thank you for showing your solution, explaining it to the class. So a round of applause, please. Okay. So now, get one whole sheet of paper again. Try this. Okay, answer this. Given problems and questions. I will give you 5 minutes. Okay, time's up. Can you do your assignment? Can you copy? Okay. So, thank you and God bless. So, but before that, can you pick up the piece of paper in your under your chair before we end this class? Okay. Thank you and goodbye.